a very special edition of Community Talks. This is our last Community Talks of 2024. So yeah, already thank you so much for closing the year in a very nice way. And also to kind of close this year with us are some very, very inspiring speakers. We're very happy to welcome some speakers from the Open Doors Fellowship. That's the topic of this edition of Community Talks is Voices of Change, how Open Doors Fellowship transforms lives. So yeah, we're very, very happy that they're here today. The Open Doors Fellowship is designed to support postdoctoral and mid-career women researchers working in agricultural research at African international research centers. So this is really a story about female empowerment to me. And that's why I'm very, very happy to welcome our speakers. It's going to be a speaker-filled edition. There's a lot of speakers here today, which we can only applaud. Our first speaker today will be Dr. Laura Cortada. We also have Dr. Hewan Demisi-Degu. We also have Dr. Hadiza Lawal Abdullahi. And we also have Dr. Anik Kojo. So I think this is all the talking for me left. I will be very happy to give the floor to Dr. Lara Cortada, who will be starting off. Before we start, maybe one last thing, because we are a lot of people here in the meeting room, we do ask to keep your cameras off because this helps the internet connection, this helps the speed. If you have any questions throughout the presentations, feel free to put them in the chat and we will be coming back to the questions after the presentations are done. So I wish you all a very nice Community Talks, and now I will finally give the floor to Dr. Laura Cortada. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lear, for having us today while we're waiting for the presentation to come. I may also switch off the camera eventually at some point if we see that the connection is not too stable. But yeah, as soon as we have the presentation, I can start. Okay, I think we can move to the next, Larissa. So maybe some of you have heard this concept that the scientific pipeline in science leaks. And today we're going to be discussing with you what is this concept and why it's important that we address the leakages in the scientific pipeline for women and how the Open Doors is contributing to prevent these leakages in the scientific pipeline. Next. So as I've been introduced, my name is Laura Cortada Gonzalez. I am the coordinator of the Open Doors Fellowship Program. This is an ITP program funded by BLIR. This program has been going on for a couple of years now. And I work, this is together with my colleagues at Ghent University and International Plant Biotechnology Outreach, with Sara Fiorito, who is not with us today, unfortunately, but together with her and my colleagues at IPBO, we deliver this program. And the objective, as it has been said, of the Open Doors Fellowship Program is to support women who are in African research centers and universities in the postdoctoral stage to continue being in the scientific pipeline, because we want them to be there, because it's important that they are there, because they must and they will be driving the scientific agenda of the continent of sub-Saharan Africa. Next. So unfortunately, we can say that still nowadays women face worldwide sexism and discrimination in research and in academia, especially in STEM fields. And this leads to the leaking pipeline of science where women drop out of the academia at all stages. Is it true that there are differences across continents and also really a lot of differences between countries within a continent? But yet data says it, that we can confirm that equality has not been globally reached in the scientific and the academia world. Next. So data says it all. Basically, these figures speak for themselves. On average, only 1 in 3 researchers worldwide is a woman at a global scale. We can see, as I said before, that there are differences across continents that are kind of like quite significant. Next. But then when you look at what is our representation on STEM workforce, is only 28.2 compared to our representation in non-STEM sectors, which is 47.3%. But it's really more striking to realize that we, women, only occupy 1 out of 10 of the leadership positions in STEM, as an example, for instance. And if we move to the next slide, we will also see that on top of this, the retention of women in academia, it's 20% lower than for men. So this data is really, it's really dramatic. So when we move to the next slide, here I'm presenting an infographic. It's a diagram that has been created by the researchers Nicole Wovin et al. They published this paper. It's called Sexism in Academia. It's bad for science and waste of public funding. And it was published in Nature Reviews. And they were assessing what are the challenges and the limitations that we face as women scientists in academia, in our professional pathway. So many people may think that our challenges mainly are focused in tertiary education during the PhD level, but that's far from being truth. Basically, after we graduate from PhD studies, we face challenges in early, mid, and senior career that really prevent us from moving forward. And this is why women at the end keep on dropping, keep on abandoning the scientific and academic worlds because of all these many obstacles that we face. And we talk from, discrimination to harassment. The list is long, and you can see it here. It comes from exclusion from power circles, excessive surveys, excessive mentorship demands, so on and so forth. It's really a very long list. Next, but if something that these authors were able to assess, and also other authors have been able to document, is that when we lose women in scientific and educational institutions, these institutions, they lose competitiveness, they lose talent, they lose creativity, and they also lose money. But one of the things I really want to highlight today is that whenever we are losing women from the scientific pipeline, we're also losing the future mentors and the role models for the generations to come. And this is something that indeed we cannot really afford to do. Next. So also I'm presenting now data from the World Economic Forum on the global gender gap. This is fresh data coming from the World Economic Forum in June 2024. And what they are telling us is that when you look at educational attainment, unfortunately, Sub-Saharan Africa is the continent that has the biggest gender gap to be closed. And this gap is more pronounced, way more pronounced in tertiary education systems in Sub-Saharan Africa. Next. So we've created this map. We have used the data from this global gender gap report, and we have created this map, and we have focused in particular with the VLIR Euro scholarship countries that you can see here, except for Nigeria, but this is because we have been having a fellow from there, and it's Hadiza Lawal. You will get to hear her later. But what we see here is that there is, as I said before, a large diversity, but except for Morocco, South Africa, and Madagascar, according to this report, all the other countries, they still have a massive gap to be filled. It's simply too large. And we have some dramatic cases such as Mali, Niger, and Benin, where the gap is really extreme. Next. And then also this data from UNESCO 2023, they support this evidence, and they highlight the fact that only 1 in 4 of the professors teaching in higher education institutions in Sub-Saharan Africa is a woman. And we can see that at the global scale, parity hasn't been achieved. But really, the continent that is really behind in that sense is Sub-Saharan Africa. Next. So the objectives of the Open Door Fellowship Program are mainly 3. The first one is that we want to enhance the scientific output of our fellows in fields that are relevant for the African and EU agricultural sectors, as Larissa has said before, but we're also expanding to new areas because we have realized there is a need, there is also a gap there. And as the program grows, we're also looking into different sectors as well. So we've started with mathematics and other aspects. We want to consolidate and expand the Flemish and Africa scientific actions and networks. And indeed, at the end, what we aim is at reducing the dropout from the early and mid-career women scientists who are driving the scientific agenda of Africa. We want them to continue being their work in institutions, research institutions, and also in universities. Next. So at the core of our programmatic framework, we have the acquisition of hard and soft skills for women to navigate their career paths. But we also work on supporting their scientific visibility, increasing that, providing them peer support and mentoring networks. And this is very much connected with having our fellows having better access to funding and research collaborations. And this is coming through our program by collaborations with the Flemish counterparts here in Belgium. And as much as possible, we also try to provide them with trainings that can help them to become agents of change within their own institutions to deliver and have better working environment, especially for women. Next. And the program is basically a 20-month training and mentoring program, and we split this into two phases. Phase one is a short stay in Belgium in Flemish labs, research and universities, institutions here. And it lasts about 12 weeks, between 8 to 12 weeks. And then fellows go back home. And then in the next 17 months, they are able to receive trainings when hard skills, soft skills, and also access the incentives packages that we have for them that I'm going to explain in the next slides. Next. So what do we train our fellows on? We provide them training on cross-cultural communication, how to present in public, science communication through different media outlets, mostly social media, negotiation, self-leadership skills, and project management. They also have exclusive online access to the capacity building portfolio of VIB, the Center of Biotechnology of Flanders, where we are hosted. We also have been working on workshops where we teach them and discuss with them how to prevent situations of sexual harassment in the workplace. And we are currently developing a training module on that. And last but not least, we also provide them with opportunities and a workshop where we connect them and they get to see what are potential funding opportunities for them to work with Flemish counterparts through UGent on the Global Minds, or maybe through VLIR, of course. Next. And then another element that we really believe it's very important in our program is to raise the visibility. The narratives of the African women in science are very important for us, and we put a lot of emphasis on this. And I must praise my colleague Sara Fiorito for that. These are narratives that bring their dignity and power. These women are achievers. They've been able to succeed through these very many obstacles, and we need to keep them there. So we need to help them to continue in their research pathways. And their science in Africa is relevant at a global scale, and we want people to see that, not only as potential collaborators of our Flemish counterparts, but what they do has an impact maybe in climate change, in breeding programs, and it has to be publicly recognized. We have to take them out of the invisibility where they are at the moment sometimes. Next. And also we provide them with financial support to go to international conferences and congresses to present their science. We want them to have this scientific visibility. And also we provide them with little grants so they can also bring their science to their local communities, and they get to be seen as what they are, like leaders in their own communities, scientific leaders themselves. Next. So when we asked our fellows, this is data from cohort Alpha and Beta only because they have been with us for more than 2 years. We have more cohorts that have completed the first phase of the program. But when we asked them about whether they believe that the program has helped them to overcome professional challenges that they experienced as researchers in the past, and when we also asked them if the program provides valuable resources for them as scientists, we got the same answers. Is a positively respond, overwhelmingly positive. Most of them strongly agree or agree. And next, most important, when we ask them whether they believe that the program is going to support them to stay in science, in the scientific pipeline, the positive response is even a bit higher, strongly agree 7 and agree 2. Next. And we also, when we inquired from them, they said that they have experienced increased scientific visibility and also enhanced recognition within their own institutions back home, which for us is very important. They can participate, or they have been participating in international projects and collaborations, and they have received either grants or awards or scholarships. Next. But mostly the element that comes over and over again is that now they feel more self-confident. They feel that the program has really helped them, and it's giving them some power to leverage back home. So they, as I said, they kind of try to, go over those barriers that they face in their institutions. Next. By all means, what they also say is that the hard skills and the networking gain in Flanders have been absolutely instrumental for them to expand, get new contacts, go for new projects, and then eventually get to advance in their careers at the end of the day. Next. And we have been observing very beautiful outcomes. I'm listing some of them here, but maybe one of those outcomes that we were not expecting is the fact that some of our fellows have started to replicate the open doors at smaller scale in their capabilities back home. This is the case, for instance, of Dr. Yemis Melki, who is working in the Bio and Emerging Technology Institute in Ethiopia. And she's now replicating a smaller open doors where she is supporting the younger women in her institution, MSCs, PhDs, early postdocs, to gain skills. She's transferring her knowledge. So she's bringing everyone together to try to support them as much as possible and empower them. And I know Hadiza is also pushing for funds back home in Kano to support the younger generation of women doing STEM in her institution. Next. So basically, we want to thank FLIR for the support to this program and also Ghent University. But we are also having other donors that are helping us to push this ahead. And we hope to be able to create sustained financial support. So we continue doing this task, not only for the next 1 year, but until we cover as many women and we support them as many women as we can. Next, but now you've heard from me a bit of the structure of the program, but I think it's now just fair that the fellows who are coming are going to present their own testimonies and they can give you their own inputs. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Laura, for presenting the Open Door Fellowship so extensively. I will start saying that I'm really privileged and delighted to be given this opportunity to share my experience being one of the fellow of the Open Door Fellowship program. So next, please. In the next couple of slides, I will take you through my career summary. Who am I and why am I here today to talk to you about my experience with the Open Door Fellowship program? And obviously, I will tell you the impact this program has on my scientific and research career, and also on my surrounding, my research group and the people that I work with. Next slide, please. So my name is Anik Gojo. I'm from Benin Republic in the west of Africa. And I'm Ghent University alumni. I obtained both a Master of Science degree and PhD from Ghent University. And over the last 12 years, I've been active in nematology research with a particular focus on the beneficial nematode. When we talk about nematode, the parasitic nematode, the bad one, but we also have a group of beneficial nematode that we can use for biological control of insect pests. And in 2022, I was really privileged to join the Open Door Fellowship program. And also later that year, I have the privilege to obtain a research funding from the Irish Research Council to conduct a study to investigate the use of these beneficial nematodes in heavy metal contamination agricultural soil. So since 2022, I joined Ireland and I've been collaborating with Irish researchers and doing what I love to do, researching on nematodes. And also recently, I had the privilege to join the Eastern and Midland Regional Climate Action Team and the Biodiversity Forum in Ireland, where I'm supporting the team and the communities in their journey toward climate adaptation and resilience. Next, please. So, well, as Laura explained, the first phase of Open Door Fellowship is for us to join an institution in Belgium. So in my case, I applied for the modality A, where I had the privilege to join fantastic researchers, Dr. Hélène de Keyser and Professor Amy Dobe at ILVO ILVO is the Flounder Research Institute for Agriculture, Fishery, and Foods. And when I joined this group, we work on the we work on the rhizobacterium transformation of sweet potato to enhance the resistance to virus disease. So basically, we grow this crop in my country, in Benin, and one of the major problem is the virus disease. So while performing this research with this team, I gained a lot of skills and to tap in the, one of the solution to combat this virus disease is to look for clean material planting, material planting. So through a tissue culture. So what I did in that lab is we work in several varieties of sweet potato, and did 3 months extensive research in the laboratory. And after having the result from the lab, I was supposed to go home, but still we were eager to see how the transform varieties perform in the environment, in natural, in natural environment. So we were hoping to run some field experiment. And luckily, we got into collaboration with Dr. Angelo that supervised the field experiment when I wasn't there anymore, but we were in close contact. So very recently, last month, I would say we got the field data. This kind of research take a lot of time, but yeah, I really thank these great researchers that they are focused and they carried the research, and we were able to go through all our aim and objective and reach out to their result. Next, please. So we gathered the data just to show you. You can see on one of the picture, basically to run this kind of transformation of using the agrobacterium, people start with different starting material, different part of the plants. The conventional one is to start with the leaves, but in our case, we indeed tried this, but we were not so satisfied with the result, and we got the idea to start with the tubers itself, which is really innovative. And we were able to obtain shoot and callus induction that were having the gene of interest that we were hoping for. And this was transported in the field to see how they behave in the field experiment. And you can see in the picture, some of the variety did not produce tubers, but the transformed varieties, I mean, did not produce tubers. But in this, the next picture to it, you can see a beautiful, sweet potato tuber. And while being at ILVO, I also learned a lot of skills in plant phenotyping on a separate project that targeted rosy species. Next, please. So to summarize the impact of Open Door Fellowship on my research career, as I just mentioned, I gathered and learned a lot of skills through my collaboration with the researcher at ILVO, and we are going to have a peer-reviewed article very soon, which is really, I'm really delighted for. It's going to, as a scientist and researcher, this will increase my publication records, and I'm hoping for a project, that we can do to answer some of the research questions that we still have in the near future. Next, please. So one of the aspects that I'm not going to overlook in this presentation is that while the Open Door Fellowship provide us with opportunity to collaborate with great researchers in Belgium, but in the same place, it gives us a space to link with amazing research, female researcher from Africa. Through this program, I met and collaborate with so many famous, and this is a great opportunity for us to share knowledge, it's a great communication and opportunities. And I thank the Open Door Fellowship for that, because in my cohort, we were 3 researchers, Madina and Adiola and me, but there were several women after us, and through the training, we met and then kept a close contact and can relate on some of the challenges we are going through. Next, please. So I will not delay on this slide because Laura already explained. On the second phase, when we go back home, we have 17 months to have a training soft skills, and we receive a whole package of training that help us to develop our career and become more self-confident, you know. So next, please. So one of the support I received from the Open Door Fellowship that I would like to share is to Open Door Fellowship gave me the opportunity to attend one of the most gathering of nematologist researcher in the USA. That was back in August 2024. So because of that support, you know, traveling that far to join that kind of, you know, conference is not really obvious, but with that support, I was able to go and present my research with the nematologists, you know, audience. And also I had the opportunity to meet great nematologist researcher that I never got the chance to meet before. So that was an opportunity for me to meet them physically, chat, and then create a network. So next, please. So in relation to the impact of Open Door Fellowship Program on my research group and people I work with, you know, I've been working with several undergraduate and postgraduate students from Benin to Belgium and Ireland now. But one of my highlights this year, 2024, it's my past student, undergraduate student in 2024 was awarded the undergraduate of the year. And this is across all departments at the SCTU University. And this because of his outstanding contribution to the environmental science. And he achieved this via his final year, you know, project that I supervised because he was working on part of my postdoctoral project. So this is, I think this speaks on its own. So whatever support that we get from program like Open Door Fellowship, you know, program, it doesn't stop on our level. We pass it out to the next generation, and it's the whole researcher community that you're helping out there. Next, please. So that being said, I would like to thank you all for the opportunity to share my experience. I think the Open Door Fellowship, you know, team, people, amazing people working in the background to deliver on this great program. And I would also like to thank the viewers for the financial support and for giving us the opportunity to share our experience today through the community talk. And to the audience, I thank you all for your attention. And if any of you is still hesitating to put up that application and submit for the Open Door Fellowship program, just go forward and do it. We never know, you know, when it happens, and it's all going to be for your benefit. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Hadiza Lawal Abdullahi, a lecturer at Bayero University, Kano, Nigeria. I work with the Department of Medical Laboratory Sciences because I'm a laboratory scientist by training. I got an MSc and PhD. I got a BSc and MSc from Bayero University, Kano in biochemistry, and also a PhD in biochemistry from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. I also got an associate degree in medical laboratory sciences. After my PhD, I was privileged to join an international research group on snakebite called African Snakebite Research Group in collaboration with the Center for Snakebite Research and Intervention, Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine, Kenyan Institute of Primate Research, and the Indian Institute of Science. Later, I joined a much wider consortium called the Scientific Research Partnership for Neglected Tropical Snakebite, involving the International AIDS Vaccine Initiative and the Scripps Institute in the US. Next. So before the Open Doors Fellowship, I was on a tough journey to research independence because I was still an early career researcher trapped in a male-dominated environment. I was invited to join a research group, but I was still grappling with many issues, such as lack of self-confidence, because I was surrounded by senior colleagues, all were professors, lack of mentorship because I was the only one in my field. It was a multidisciplinary research group with a lot of clinicians. So the only solution to my problems was to get funding opportunities to go for a fellowship to acquire the necessary skills. I was able to get one, which was the NIHR Spark grant to go to Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine, but unfortunately it was cancelled due to the COVID pandemic. Next. Then suddenly I saw the ODFP call for application on WhatsApp. Close to the deadline, I went through it, realized that I don't stand a chance because it was very close to the deadline, but somehow I decided to give it a try. Next. I applied for the slot at the Center of Excellence for Mycotoxicology and Public Health, and the title of my short research stay was Strengthening of Skills in Mycotoxin Analysis, a requisite for building research capacity for improvement of food safety in Africa. Next. The ODFP experience was much more than I anticipated. The environment, that is the students' housing facilities, were safe and the environment was serene. I was very nervous on my way to my host lab on the first day. But then the moment I stepped in and met the lab members, I felt more at home. The friendly environment made learning very easy because I was getting all the support from my hosts and mentors. I was carried along in all activities. I got to attend the FlexiGot research meeting with my host and mentor at KU Leuven, also a symposium and PhD defense at other campuses. The mentorship was excellent, both for activities within the lab and outside, like the workshops organized by the VIP IPB. Next. Here I am working on sample extraction. Next. Here I am working with a liquid chromatograph coupled to mass spectrometry, coupled to a mass spectrometer. Next. Well, I joined the FlexiGot project, and what was the project all about? The FlexiGot project was about understanding through a holistic exposome approach the role that the gut microbiome inflammatory axis plays in chronic diseases. And I was able to participate in this project. We analyzed 385 serum samples from the Flemish population using an analytical method we have developed for the identification and quantification of 41 mycotoxins and metabolites by LC-MS-MS. I also learned how to analyze mycotoxins or to detect mycotoxins and confirm them in food samples. So what did we find out? We found out that 14 different mycotoxins and their metabolites were detected, and all subjects were exposed to ochratoxin A, and 27.3% of participants were exposed to 2 or more mycotoxins. Next. The outcomes of the ODFP experience for me were nothing short of fantastic. Apart from training I received, I was able to expand my network. I learned a lot from the post-ODFP VIP online training portfolio, which had positive impact on my personality and academic career. Next. Despite all this, I had some challenges. I was lucky to get 2 grants, one for a postdoc fellowship from the American Association of University Women after the Open Doors Fellowship, and one from the Africa Research Excellence Fund in the UK for a research development fellowship. But these fellowships were on venomics, that is proteomics of snake venom toxins, because that was my original area of research. But throughout these fellowships, I kept on comparing with the ODFP experience, the facilities, the quality of mentorship, and transparency. So I had mixed feelings regarding the choice of a research niche. I was torn between snake venoms and mycotoxins. But finally, I felt more at home with mycotoxin research and the urgent need to address a more under-prioritized public health problem in Nigeria. But having good plans is not enough. The big challenge is getting funding. Next. Here are some of the benefits reaped from the ODFP experience. In collaboration with the Ghent African Platform and UGent alumni in my university, an MOU was signed recently that will enable research collaborations, such as the one between the Center of Excellence for Mycotoxicology and Public Health and Center for Dryland Agriculture in my university, where I'm leading a new mycotoxin research group, benchwork and other academic-related mobilities. With the skills acquired from the Open Doors fellowship experience, we will soon commence hands-on training for early career researchers, most of which are women, on mycotoxin detection at the Center for Dryland Agriculture. In order to give back to my community, I've also registered a new organization called STEMify Her to help the few female scientists to navigate their careers with ease through trainings and mentorship. The most important achievement is an application for a research development fellowship I've submitted to the Africa Research Excellence Fund to build exposome research capacity in Nigeria in collaboration with my host at the Center of Excellence for Mycotoxicology and Public Health. This will hopefully contribute a lot to improvement of food safety and public health in Nigeria. Next. Now I feel more confident and independent. I've been able to retool myself and redirect my career. A big thank you to the coordinator and sponsors of the ODFP, my host, Professor Adisega, and my mentor, Dr. Roger Perot-Gascon, and other members of the Center of Excellence for Mycotoxicology. I look forward to more successful research collaborations. To my audience, thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk about the Open Door Fellowship and its impact for my research, my career in Ethiopia. My name is Hewan Demse. I'm currently working at Hawassa University in the southern part of Ethiopia in Sidama region, where I'm affiliated in the College of Agriculture. So next, please. Yeah. When I applied for this Open Door Fellowship, because I got the link from a friend, and then I applied for the genome editing at the Plant System Biotechnology at the Flanders Institute of Biotechnology in Ghent University. And when I got this fellowship that the news which came from the Open Door Fellowship that you have been selected as a fellow in our program from the end of April 2024 to November 2025, I was really thrilled. It was one of amazing news which I heard, and specifically when I'm looking for a change in research and a change in work condition, a change in for progress. Next, please. So I remember I applied for Hawassa University for a research and technology transfer associate dean office before I applied for the Open Door Fellowship, and it was late. And I actually saw that, okay, I'm not going to get it because they are not announced. They keep it still posted, and they didn't call us or make us to compete for that position. And before I got the Open Door Fellowship, then I said that, okay, I'll give up and I'll definitely go for the Open Door Fellowship program in the Belgian University. And because, as you can see, next please. As you can see, this letter is given to me on April 2024, April 3, 2024. That is the time I have already accessed the visa, secured the visa, and ready to travel to Belgium for the 8 to 12 week training at Flanders Institute of Biotechnology. And then I got this news, and then next, please. Yeah, and then I talked with Laura. So what am I going to do? Right now, I got this position because this is the position that I was really looking for. Specifically, research and technology transfer is my passion in the College of Agriculture, because that is the way we can change or we can transform our country. So then when I sent this email, I was in a dilemma of choosing whether to go to the Open Door Fellowship for the 12-week training program or drop out of the Open Door Fellowship. And then that is the time where Laura came into hand and started negotiating with the vice president of our our university on the research and technology transfer. And next, please. Yeah, that is how the things happen. It is resolved with the vice president office in our university, and they say that yes, she has to go there because that is one of the technical capacity that we are looking for in our staff members. Then they allow me to go and they give me the green light. So for the Open Door Fellowship, I was looking or I was searching in AHEI for solution before I joined to the Open Door Fellowship. This is because there are so many problems in my country. Definitely, we are one of the developing country, and there is a lot of mismanagement or like confusion, even where I am working in the university where I'm employed. So I found myself as if I am a woman searching a solution in a pile of hay and needle. So next, please. Yeah. So through the Open Door Fellowship, I realized that, or I understood that I have to use a tool. What type of a tool? There are different type of tools which enable me, capacitate me, and increase my confidence and also my intellectual ability and my ability to communicate to the society, to communicate to the university members, and also to our country members for a change. So that is a tool. So what type of tools that I got from the Open Door Fellowship? Next, please. Yeah, the tools in transforming research. These tools to transform research are like, first we have to understand culture and we have to present our scientific investigations or discoveries to the community in a knowledge or in the language they understand. So the first week I arrived in Belgium, this is a training that I got, the cultural quantum. I've never realized that the cultural quantum is like something that should be there as a curriculum in the university, because it really opened a lot of mysteries for me. It clarified for me through the book and specifically through that training when we are doing the workshop at PSB. It really clarified for me a lot of information, because the cultures, I am not the one who created it. I live into that culture. And now in the world, we are living in diverse culture. So we can't say that, okay, this culture is really important, this culture not important, but we have to indulge into that culture if we really wanted to transform our society, and specifically in Africa, where culture, language, and diversity, ethnicity is really diverse. So how to live in that diverse culture, this cultural quantum training, it really helped me through the Open Door Fellowship. The other powerful training that I got is like, how to present my scientific discoveries to the audience, to the society who are not researching in the same level like me about plant biotechnology or other things. Like, some of the languages are very jargon, but how can we transmit that knowledge which can stick to the audience and it can bring impact? So that training that I have also got in the Open Door Fellowship through the training of The Floor is Yours by a wonderful presenter and teacher, Hans, is one of the tools that I've got which empower me. Next, please. Yeah, not only that, I was trained as a biotechnologist from Tsukuba University, Japan, and I have got like a short-term training in Jonin Center in United States of America, Iowa State University. Even I was affiliated at DuPont Pioneer, but this the ones that I affiliated at Thomas Jacobs Laboratory, it was completely unique. What makes it unique is like, the way the laboratory has been arranged. It is transparency. There is no door which you can lock it. And there is no key for one laboratory is open for some people and the other is open. It is like, it is really transparent, and everybody sit and the table, they discuss and they plan well and they execute the laboratory work. And I was really, really impressed by that fellowship that I've got. I become like more empowered and become more well versed about genome editing, and even I really gained a lot of training through that short term, which really boosted my confidence in my skill or in the field of specialization. Next, please. Yeah, so this training, it really helped me from where to start and where to end. And can you imagine, I was there on the 10th May up to 15th July. I completed the research without interruption. That was really a marvelous phenomenon, or like, marvelous thing that I ever get, because that happens because of a disciplined way of research and research management at Plant System Biotechnology, Ghent University. So nobody told me that, okay, you can't do this or that, but I was able to execute what I was planning in my research. And that was another milestone that I achieved. Next, please. Yeah, then now I started teaching gene manipulation for undergraduate, and that the sense of responsibility which is installed in me through that training, I am working with my students for them to understand the technique rather than just memorize the jargon words. So then how can we do that in a simple way? That is something that I am working at Hawassa University in College of Agriculture. Next, please. Yeah, now I'm teaching Introduction to Plant Biotechnology to undergraduate student. Next. And I also took a course, a number of courses actually, which are designed by experts. And these courses which designed by experts are really realistic, how we can work in the university and we can do the research in the university, but how can we bring that knowledge to the society is through rules and regulation. So I remember that I know in the university level there was ethical board, but we don't have at College of Agriculture. Then I was able to organize the ethical board for College of Agriculture, and all of the members, they got a very good training. And now, without a hassle, we can evaluate the proposals and from the project, from the PhD student and also master students that can be executed at the College of Agriculture with accountability and responsibility. So that is what I was achieved through this training. I was able to transfer it directly to the College of Agriculture by organizing this ethical board in our college. Next, please. Yeah, and also the different trainings that I found from Ghent University, I was able to attend different seminars and researches. So I was now so much lucky to organize a project in the College of Agriculture in Hawassa University, where I was in the middle between, never been there before. So it really gave me a confidence when I was becoming a moderator in the college. So I became a confident woman and really a powerful woman. Next, please. Yeah, and thanks to the Present with Power training, and first time in my life, I was presenting my research at the plenary session. And after presenting my research, one thing that I got from the commenters from different audience who are far from the field of biotechnology is that, yeah, it was really powerful. I really understand what you are saying. Such commenters has been coming to me, and they are really happy. Everybody was so happy during that presentation. So this, I realized that through the training, I was able to apply present with power for the audience to stick the message to them rather than bounce back. So that is an amazing experience that I experienced in my College of Agriculture. Next, please. And also, my publications increase. As you can see, these are like, after I got the fellowship that I've been publishing. Even recently, I got more about 10 publication, which really made me to be really proud of the Open Door Fellowship for empowering me with a scientific discipline. Next, please. Yeah, and also one of the things that I'm really happy in my college is after discussing with a few members, specifically with the dean and with the vice president, and they allow me to start research seminars in our college where senior members will come and present, and that can be transmitted to the audience, to our masters and PhD, and also our staff members. And it was a challenge, but I was so lucky to have Dr. Santayo to jump in and to start this seminar. Now we have a seasonal seminar which is established in the College of Agriculture, and the next presenter is already booked, and we are going to have this seminar which will become a continuous program in the College of Agriculture. Next, please. Yeah, next. And also, even if I am far from the medical biotechnology or other, but I have seen how the sex and gender dimension in research is a challenge. So sometimes we overlook that, but most of the time, even like when papers are published, they collect data about like 1% or 2% of the female or the women, and then the majority are men, and they can be published that. So I was able to take this course, which is sponsored by the Open Door Fellowship, which really helped me to broaden about what is really sex and gender and how it can be applied in our research, even the agriculture research. And next, please. Yeah, so now I am reviewing scientific papers on the sex and gender dimension included in research in Ethiopia, and soon I have already collaborated with different researchers from Addis Ababa University, and then we are going to publish that, which can enable us to submit it into as a policy review or other things. Thank you. Next. So, sure, I will continue inspiring and moving forward. That's College of Agriculture, because College of Agriculture is Hawassa University is differentiated as Agriculture University, and the main mandate is for us in College of Agriculture, and there are a number of senior professionals we have there, and we are really perfectly situated in a country where a number of smallholder farmers, and specifically with root and tuber crops and fruit crops are dominating, where because it is a hub of coffee and also yam and sweet potato and potato. So this the biotechnology road is really the right spot for me, and sure I will continue that. Next. Yes, I really like to acknowledge first the Open Door Fellowship for giving me this chance, And for Laura, for negotiating, for not like leaving me behind. She fight for me to be hosted in Belgium and get all that training. That is an asset for Hawassa University. It is an asset for me, and also it is an asset for the country where we can inspire each other. I'm really thankful for all the Open Door Fellowship who was there to train me about how we can present ourselves and in the story form, and to prepare webinar, and also how can we present ourselves in social media, and how we can present in for the policy, because how can we negotiate with the politicians, and also with the journalists, how we can answer professionally with the journalists when we are really asked different questions. All this is like a lot of training, and that is what I've got. I'm really immersed with all that, and I'm really thankful for Thomas Jacobs for hosting me in his amazing very intellectual and fun laboratory, which still we are keeping in touch, and we are writing proposal together to get a fund to bring that technique into Hawassa University. And I'm really thankful for the Villares and the Flanders Institute of Biotechnology and Belgium University, or Ghent University, and also Hawassa University for allowing me to get all this training. I'm thankful, and you are not wasted. Definitely, I'm going to share all this to our fellow citizens, and to bring agriculture more fun and transform our country. Thank you very much.
All right, I think these were all of our speakers of today. Yeah, once again, thank you so much for sharing your experiences, for sharing the research that you do. I'm speaking for myself, but I think you can all read it. It's very inspiring to see the roads that you have been on and are currently still on. So thank you so much. Yes, I think now we can move on to the Q&A section. If someone has a question to ask one of the researchers, feel free to put them in the chat, and then I will pass them on to the researchers. I saw already one question, and the question is, which professional careers does the Open Doors Fellowship cover? So maybe, Laura, that's something that maybe you can answer.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Larissa. Well, there are two ways fellows can access the Open Doors Fellowship Program. One is what we call Modality A. And in Modality A, we have slots that have been opened by Flemish research or academic institutions. And they are quite different these days, because as I said before, we realized that there was a need out of agriculture. So we go from vet sciences to soil health, that is nematology, mycotoxins. We have botany this year for the first time. We are also having mathematics. So the slots are there. Socioeconomics, someone who is assessing the impact of genome edited crops in Africa, or the consumer's preferences. So there is an element of socioeconomics. That's a way to enter the program, and you can find information in the website on Modality A. But also for those who have already been having connections with Ghent, either as an MSc or as a BSc or as a PhD, we also offer the opportunity that they can connect with their counterparts here in Flanders, their colleagues, the former promoters, so they can come up with a project themselves. So that might also be disciplines that we have not considered in the Modality A, but this is also a possibility. So we are happy. You have our details here. We're happy to respond to your emails, but you can also find this information on our website. It's IPBO website. I hope I'm answering the question. Yeah.
Yes, I think so. So yeah, it's great to hear that there are some additional opportunities. If anyone is interested here, feel free to look at the details that are now on the screen. So you have the email address on top, the Instagram handle, how we can find them on LinkedIn, and hashtags that are used in the posts that you IPBO posts. I have another question I see here. May I have the link about the program? May I also share this information to my colleagues in the university? I see, Lara, that you already reacted with the link. I think, of course, sharing is caring. I think the more people know about the Open Doors program, the better, I think. Yeah, if there are any additional questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. This is your opportunity to find out more about these amazing speakers.
This is a young program, Larissa. So we started only 3 years ago. So we are very happy to and very grateful if Rina and other colleagues can spread the news. Of course, the more people knows about us, the better, I think.
Yes, yes. And I remember you talking about that you are looking to expand as well with the program. So it's nice to see that the program is already, you know, changing, evolving to bigger, better things. So that's always nice to hear.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. And then another thing I would like to share, maybe now with the audience before everyone goes. I know we are on top of the hour, but the program, the fellowships, the applications were open until 31st of December, but we're going to extend the deadline. It's going to be officially published in our channels by Friday, that we're going to extend the deadline until the 10th of January. So yeah, so we are looking into giving a bit more time for people to apply and get the last maybe documents that they need to get.
Okay, great. Well, that's great to hear. If anyone here, you know, is really, really interested in maybe, you know, going for one of these opportunities, then definitely look at all of the information. If there are no more additional questions, I get the feeling that we can maybe wrap up the edition of Community Docs here. There's someone who still asks, may I know the requirements to apply for the Open Doors Fellowship? I don't know, maybe if it's more in detail in the link, but maybe you can share some like key elements.
Yeah, we can share key elements here. Of course, you must be a recipient or you must be in a country which is a recipient of the VLIR US scholarship countries, because VLIR US is our main donor. And then we don't have any age limitation, because also the profile of our fellows is very different. I didn't share this because of lack of time, but the women in Africa tend to graduate from PhD programs quite late because of different challenges that they experience in their daily lives. So we don't have a limit of age. That's one of the requirements of VLIR, of course, but that was already in the DNA of our program, because we know that even if you graduate as a PhD at 42, you still need to have support for that. Then you must be employed in a university or in an international or national research organization with a contract that will last for the duration of the scholarship. And you have to be supervising basically either your application. We also require like an official approval of the direct supervisors to ensure that, you know, we don't have situations where someone is applying and then you know, she cannot go. And once we have this letter, we can negotiate if they say no afterwards. So that's what we do as well.
Right.
So it's a way of covering you, ladies, and ensuring that at the end of the day, if someone said she can go, then we sort of help them to have a second thought if at some point they say no afterwards.
Yep. Okay. Well, great. Thank you for sharing some key elements. So if you are interested in applying, definitely do. Yeah, I think we can wrap up the session here. Once again, thank you all so much for being here, being present during our last community talks of 2024. Very special to end the session with the Open Doors Fellowship. So thank you once again to all of our speakers for contributing. I can already say that this was for me at least, a very inspiring, very very interesting session. And I do also want to invite you to stay tuned for 2025. We have some lovely other editions coming soon, so stay tuned for that. I also wanted to say, if you really want to revisit or rewatch this session, this has been recorded and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel in the following days. So if you want to, maybe if you're like, I thought the presentation by Anique was so great, I want to revisit everything she said, there's no problem, you can do that. But yeah, you can definitely do that. And I think that's maybe all for me to say. So I'm going to wish you a very nice rest of your day, and probably also a very nice end of the year, a very nice 2025 already. So I hope you can all visit family or celebrate it with family. So yeah, I'm wishing you nice holidays if you celebrate. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us today. Really,
Thank
it's been a
you.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much. It's very inspiring and very informative. Thank you for involving me in this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you for this amazing opportunity. Thank you, Laura. I really give you a hug from here, Ethiopia, and what you are doing is really amazing. And keep